you know what he has on the back, so he looks great like this.
So people, we are now live. We are now live. We are streaming on YouTube, and you're all welcome to the studio. We have beautiful entrepreneurs, experts, specialists on different fields, and this is a new series that is championed by this. By the South African room in Club Room, in Clubhouse, not Club Room, Clubhouse. There's so many rooms that I get confused. And I will allow the leader, the founder of that Clubhouse room to introduce us to this conversation today. My name is Beatrice Achaleke, but I will pass it on to Cornelia. She is actually our main host for today. So to introduce us to the studio guest and to the topic, and then we will just get into the conversation. So those of you who are joining us on Facebook and YouTube, we welcome you. This is a live conversation, and we are so looking forward to our guest speaker today. He is the expert in the industry. And before we get to him, I will pass over the microphone to Cornelia. Cornelia, over to you, please.
Yes, good evening, everybody. So good evening, good morning to wherever you are looking or listening to us from. I'm very happy to be in the crowd of Beatrice, who has been doing amazing work with us even before Clubhouse, and I managed to get her into Clubhouse to be even part of a bigger network, which she already has. And on the panel, we also have Samira. She is also an African woman on the move. When you call her, you never know where she is because she's always in Paris, or she's in Egypt, or she's somewhere else in the world, yeah? So happy to have you with us this evening, Samira, and to be part of this conversation. And the main host we have this evening is Dennis. When I opened this club, it was a very crazy idea of Sue Phillips, which is known as the Perfume Queen on Clubhouse. She's also South African. After a few phone calls, we ended up saying, you know what, why don't we open clubs on Clubhouse? We had no idea how it's going to work. No, absolutely no idea. And we said, just do it and see what happens afterwards. And believe you me, the journey we've had for almost 8 months, we are not even looking back because it has been an absolute amazing journey. And with this note, I want to introduce you guys to Dennis. Dennis popped into our room almost 8 months ago as well. And he introduced himself. And he told us, like, when you come to South Africans Connections, what I always ask everybody, tell us where you're talking to us from. Tell us who you are, what you do. As you see, I am a networker, so we can see how we can network you with the right people because my network is quite large. And when Dennis came around, I thought it was like a golden medal because he did such a lot of things which our community can also use, because my mantra is education, sustainability, and just showing those who don't know how to do it even better. Yeah. And Dennis came into our room, and when he introduced himself and told us what he's doing, there was just no two even thoughts about him not getting on board, and he just stayed. He came in and he stayed in our crowd, and he's an amazing man. He has different conversations. He's a coach. He does regular rooms with us on a Tuesday, which is podcasting. And you know what? He's a man with different facets as well. He does public relationships, but he also wears many hats. Yeah. And when he came in, I thought, you know what? We are such a diverse community in South Africans Connection. Way to go. We have him in our crowd. And this is when I asked him, Dennis, what do you think about doing a room in Club Sassy Fin about podcasting and public speaking, because sometimes I also have a little bit of problems. Standing in front of crowds, I don't have a problem. But this Clubhouse thing is an audio app. I'm not too sure how to deal with that. And he made it very easy just being part of his rooms every Tuesday. And with this note, I would like to pass it over to Dennis. Thank you for being there. He's joining us from New York. And I just want to thank you as well for being part of us for so many months and giving us so much value to our audiences as well. Over to you, Dennis.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Cornelia, and I'm very happy to serve the South African community as well as all communities, because the things that I am teaching are soft skills, and we need those soft skills in order to be successful in everything that we do. And the soft skills, of course, is communication based, public speaking. How important is public speaking to those across the world, those across Africa and everywhere? Because when you learn how to communicate properly, it will definitely increase your money earning ability, your ability to reach higher statuses in the profession that you are in. And it just makes you more of a dynamic, confident person. I've been saying for years that public speaking is personal growth. And when you learn how to communicate and be conscious about how you communicate, it's going to improve your business life, but it's also going to improve your personal life. You will be shocked and stunned at how well you'll be able to speak once you learn just a couple of things. And so I'm glad to be here to talk about various aspects of public speaking. I look forward to the discussion and the questions and everything like that. And then maybe at the end, I'll tell you how you can learn how to speak better too. And so I'm ready. Let's do it, Cornelia. Over to you.
Okay, let's go to Samira. Samira, we all met in the South African Connections Club in Clubhouse. And I keep saying club, sometimes I say room, so you pardon me, I'm new in that space, but you all know what I'm talking about. So Samira, you are one of the regulars in the South African Connection room in Clubhouse. So, and we all came across Dennis and we realized that he has this incredible talent, he's an incredible powerhouse of public speaking. What is your take on public speaking, Samira? What is your take on that? And what have you learned from David so far? And what would you like David to share with Dennis? What have you learned from Dennis so far? And what would you love Dennis to share with us today?
Yes, thank you so much, Cornelia, Beatrice, Dennis. Honestly, for a global connector, for an entrepreneur, what better than public speaking? Because when you have a voice, you have something to put out there. The best thing is to learn how to do it and how doing it with your heart and with your message. So I did really, actually, the first time even though, because I'm not from South Africa, I am from North Africa, but actually Spanish also too. So that global thing made me see, oh, South African Club, what is that? Because, being global, you always want to be there. And I ended up in the public speaking. That was really nice to see. My God, this is how I love learning every day. Because when you learn, you earn a lot of things, skills. And today, with everything that's going on, if you know how to speak out and how to give your message, then you can do it anytime, anywhere. So I really advise everyone to get so much knowledge about the public speaking. Everyone is actually afraid. All the people, all the partners that I have, they always say, don't tell me I will have to speak and say something in front of people. I will kind of like a go-getter no matter what, so I jump. But that doesn't mean I do it all the time perfectly. So that is why it's always nice to learn from Dennis for the public speaking and learn from anyone you come across, because when you learn, it's a way of putting yourself out there, and going with action mode is even better. So, Dennis, I would like to ask you a question.
Samira, before we get to the question, I forgot to ask you to introduce yourself. Please, will you introduce yourself in a few words before we get to your question? We're just going back and forth, and then I'll hand it over back to you and Dennis and Cornelia. Please.
Absolutely. I said, I'm a global entrepreneur. I help entrepreneurs build a business all over the world on an online platform. Actually, when I finish from this broadcast, I'm going to do a business presentation in Spanish. So this is what I do. I really help people build a community of like-minded people and work together to build either supplement income or really a legacy for a long time. So this is what I love to do. That is why the mix of public speaking and connecting, that's the thing I love to do. And that's the thing I know how to do it. So that's why we're here today. Thank you, Beatrice.
Okay. We are back. I know you had a question for Dennis, but let's go to Cornelia now. Cornelia is the host of this conversation. So Cornelia, I'll pass it on to you and you will take over and tell us, lead us in the conversation, so to say.
Yes, people might be asking, what is this all about? Why are we doing this? Yes, the mission started many, many years ago when I came across a woman called Wendy Elsner. And she said to me, you know what, there's so much to be done in the lives of the diaspora and the lives of just the way people try to fit into the new environment and the new homes, And as I came to Clubhouse, I realized that we are South Africans from around the world, living in different countries, and a lot of entrepreneurs, people from Namibia, a lot of Namibian people has joined us, and a lot of Nigerians, a lot of people who has lived in South Africa, who has studied in South Africa. And as we were having our different conversations, we also realized we had more entrepreneurs and people who even in this pandemic started their own businesses coming to join us. So as we were having our everyday conversations, they were saying, you know what, Cornelia, we need this, we need that. And you as a networker, how can we make this possible? And one of the biggest hiccups a lot of people had was public speaking. Now, obviously, I don't have that major problem with public speaking because I can talk for hours. You guys have met me. You came across me. I can talk. I can lead one conversation into the another, and before you know it, it will not just be 2 hours, it will be 8 hours or 16 hours or whatever. And then they said, Cornelia, how do you do that? Now, I can't teach that. It's part of me. It's part of who I am. So I had to find somebody as well who is as good to teach it in a very simple way, how to do public speaking. And when I came across Dennis, I thought, yes, I've got it now. This is a person who is very global. He knows how to deal with people on different levels. It doesn't matter which angle they come from, which nationality, which level of, how would I say, what kind, if they just started a business or if they even big business people, he knows how to deal with them. Because I've had many conversations before I even approached him to do this hours with us every Tuesday. And yes, and this is why I also had a few hiccups as well as a moderator in the public speaking field. And I approached him, and the way he dealt with me, I said, okay, over to you, Dennis. You take the floor. And this is what he's doing every Tuesday with us. So with this note, I would like to give it over to Samira, because Samira had a question to Dennis.
Yes, Dennis. So do you think the public speaking could be learned? Do we have to have some skills? Is this something that we can learn easily, or we need to take the time? What is the most important thing if we want to learn how to do the public speaking?
That's a good question. And I think the very first step that is important is to let go of the idea that you can't do it. And I think because some people think that public speaking, or someone who's speaking in public, it's a natural thing. It just comes to you. You're just born with it. And so I think there are some cases where people might be born with certain aptitudes that come naturally. But for a lot of people, that's public speaking can be learned. So I would say first, let go of the idea that you can't learn how to public speak, because you can. Because if you want to, you can. And now, how long does it take? It depends on how committed you are. And so really what you have to do is, the first thing that I do with people is try to get them to talk, extensively about small things. Because the first thing that you know in public speaking is that you can't have one-word answers for everything. And so let's say if I ask you what your favorite color is, and then you can tell me, I'm gonna make something up right now. Doesn't mean it's your favorite color. Let's say you tell me your favorite color is, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is red. All right. So what happens is you've asked a closed question, and now someone said their favorite color is red. But the idea is expounding on it. Why is your favorite color red? What makes you choose red? And so in this practice of speaking extemporaneously, we learn how to continue with our thought, to allow our preferences and what we want to say to blossom from one word to a paragraph and into two paragraphs. And so I start training people on how to really speak extemporaneously so their thoughts can flow. A lot of people think they don't have anything to say until they do a couple of rounds of that. Then they just start flowing. Then they just don't stop talking. And I'm like, well, I thought you had nothing to say. So a lot of people underestimate their ability to communicate. And that's why I started out by answering your question with let go of the idea that you can't. Because, 75% or so of people fear public speaking, but there really is no need to fear it once you break these stigmas around who you are. And so those are the first steps I would take to let go of the messages that you can't public speak and start expounding on what would be one-word answers. So start out slow. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? And let's do something even more challenging. Think about something that you don't like. Well, why is Christmas your favorite holiday? Well, Christmas is not my favorite holiday. Well, why not? So just think broader than just the one-word answers you would normally give. So that answers the question. I don't know if it did or not, but you can tell me if it did.
Well, I think I get it because, speaking different languages, I always tell people, if you want to learn one language, just start having fun. Because when you have fun with something, then you don't have the fear of not doing it right or not having the skill to do it. So yeah, in a kind of, yes, it's like let go and just like start. But what are like 3 tips if I have to do a speech in front of people for the first time? What would you advise me to do?
Well, you said 3 tips. I'll start with 1. Well, 1 usually comes before 2 and 3, at least I think. So you have a speech coming up. So I'm assuming that you know that this speech is coming up. So in that case, you make sure you write a speech that outlines the main purpose of your message. Every time you give a speech, there should be a main idea of the speech, because you're getting on stage for a reason, right? So what are you speaking about? So let's just make up something. You're speaking about the joys of the color red. So what is the point? What is the joy of the color red? And so you make sure you have your speech and make at least 3 points to illustrate the amazingness of the color red. So once you have that down, you practice. The reason why we practice speeches a whole lot of times before we get on stage is so we can get that speech into our bones, into our system. It becomes what's called muscle memory. So you can do the speech without having to think about it. And that minimizes the need to write it out word for word, which you should never do, or have lots of copious notes on the podium, which you don't need as long as you practice. And so I would say practice, practice, practice. Write the speech, practice it, get on stage. And then also understand that the speech is not about you. We can make that point number 2 to keep in mind. The speech is not about you. Because what we tend to do is we get on stage and we think, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And what are they going to think of me? And I look like a wreck. And my hair isn't an afro. Okay, but the speech is not about all that. The speech is about giving the message to your audience. In this hypothetical example, letting the audience know why they should embrace the color red. Why should they embrace it? So remember, the message is not for you. The message is for the audience. And the third thing I would say is to interact with the audience. This reduces nervousness because people are nervous about being on stage. Interact with the audience. Ask some probing questions. How many of you like the color red? They'll raise their hand or not. You know, how many of you hate the color red? They'll raise their hand or not. That way you are interacting with the audience and it takes the mind off of you. And so just to recap, you know, practice, 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 you know, and it's not about you. And make sure you interact with the audience. Have a message they can take away too. So I hope that answers the question. Hope so. Hope so. You can tell me.
Yes, absolutely. No, it does. Yes, because I always thought, you know, I do a lot of public speaking, but not because I had to, but just the way it is. And I love interacting with the audience. Sometimes maybe I miss some of the things I was supposed to say, but because I interact with the audience, then they get the energy, or at least they get the main points of the topics. Yes, you are right on that. So that's why it make it more fun, interact with the people. That's how you can keep the attention of your audience. Yes.
I want to throw something there, right? Because before you move on, you mentioned something in passing. I think it's very important to say that you said that sometimes you get on stage and you forget every single thing in the speech because you're having so much fun and you're interacting. That's okay, because remember that nobody knows you forgot it. Only you know you forgot it. And so we kind of beat ourselves up. Man, I forgot, because I do that sometimes. Oh, I forgot to say that. I think 6 hours later after the speech, I forgot to make that point. I forgot to make that point. But that's okay, because as long as the main point was delivered, the audience doesn't know that you forgot a paragraph. They don't know you forgot to say a word a certain way. And so they can't judge you and they can't care about it because they don't know it. And so hopefully that puts people at comfort when they may have realized they forgot to say something or do a particular thing. So what? You'll do it next time. The audience never knew in the first place. All right. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No. That was really interesting. And yes, it makes simple. I think I always say, make it everything KISS. Keep it super simple. I think if we keep it simple, we really get out of that fear. And I think, yes, you're right. These are points that are really important for someone who want to go out there and speak in front of his audience. So yes, they never know. This is like when you post on social media. Sometimes you can repost another post and no one really knew that it was reposted. So yes, you're true. Everything is on our mind, but people are there just to see what we have to say. And it doesn't matter if we do it in one way or the other. And do you prepare for your class when you do the public speaking?
Yes, I do. My classes around soft skills, public speaking, there are courses that you can take with me one-on-one and or in groups. And that's what Cornelia was talking about earlier with the Tuesdays. And so I have it's called Authentic Master Program for Communication. And so when we do the classes on Tuesdays, and if you were to hire me one-on-one as your coach, we would be going through a particular format. We would start out with talking about your bio, and then we talk about your elevator pitch and how you can communicate that message in a clear, concise way. And then you'd have a choice. We can go down the public speaking route, how to write a speech and get on stage and stagecraft, or we can take the podcasting route, how to get your podcast going, how to record it, get it on the net and broadcast. And so that would be the choice of what your needs would be. So the first part would be, a prerequisite, because this is really to improve your business prospects and your entrepreneurial ventures. And the second half would be of your choosing, either public speaking or podcasting. So the classes that I teach and the ones that were referred to here on Tuesdays, they are pieces from that course. So yes, in a long-winded way, yes, it is prepared.
Okay, now that's good, because sometimes I always wonder if these things are prepared. So that's really interesting, because it has a kind of segment. So you start with one thing and you finish it. Because I remember the first time, now it just came up to my mind. It was in August, I think, the first time, and I entered in your room. Oh, I said, public speaking, that's interesting. And actually we kind of interact for the first time. So it's very funny when you remember things. I said, wow, what I remembered from you is your voice. You had such a presence with your voice. I said, oh my God, look at this audio. And this guy is really like having an incredible voice, so you can hear it from the app. So that was what attracted me. I just remember it right now when we talked about it, that my first time was in August. Yes, thank you, Dennis. And I probably would love to know more, maybe next time or this time, about the podcast, because it's something that is really, really now, I would say, kind of super fashionable, but it's my way of saying it. But everyone wants the podcast. And why do you think podcast is important right now for whoever has something to say to the audience?
Dennis, one moment before you answer. We have people who are joining on the Facebook and YouTube. I just want to say, if you're all welcome to the conversation. If you want to participate, please use the comment box. Send in your questions, send in your comment, cheer Dennis up, and tell us what is your experience with public speaking. Is there any issues that you have? You want to join the South African Connection Club? We are going to carry this conversation right into the club. You'll find the information on the description box. So we just want to let you know before our expert gets into giving you some nuggets. This is an open studio, and we welcome your contributions from wherever you are. So feel free to use the comment box to join the conversation in the studio. So that said, I would like to hand it over back to our experts today, to Dennis, and then maybe from Dennis, we'll go back to Cornelia and get Cornelia back into the conversation, and then go back to Samira, so that we have that interaction in the studio and really get a whole lot going. So thank you so much. And now over to you, Dennis.
All right, so thank you very much. And I think that was a great question that was asked just a second ago. Why is podcasting so important? What's the big deal about podcasting, right? So, a podcast, it really is just a radio show. I mean, that's essentially what it is. The radio, the AM radio, the talk shows that have been around for 100 years. A podcast is just the next level of that. So now this is a digital world we live in. Everybody has portable everything, portable iPod, portable phone, portable this. And now we have portable computers, in our pockets, like the iPhone. And so a podcast is a way to reach anyone, anywhere they're going. A lot of people don't sit home and listen to AM radio anymore like they used to. And so the podcast is the next generation of that. There are, what did I see? The number 250,000 different podcasts. Millions and millions of people listen to podcasts every week. And that is one of the primary ways that if you're an entrepreneur or if you're an expert in your field and you really want to spread the word about your message far and wide to people who may not never walk through your door, who you may not have ever met before, and maybe you'll never meet them, who knows, or maybe you will. A podcast is the best way to get to them, because if people subscribe to Apple and you have a podcast on there, it automatically downloads. if they're subscribed. They don't even have to go and download it. It automatically does that. I think the same thing with Spotify and all the other podcast services. And so the importance of podcasting is to help you spread your message. This goes especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially capital E, because it's your business. You are the brand. And so podcasting is a way to market your services and market your knowledge so people will want to know more. And people who hear you, even if it doesn't apply to them, they may know somebody who it may work for. And so I think podcast is essential for A, growing your business and expanding your brand, and B, sharing information with people, and C, entertainment. Sometimes people listen to podcasts for entertainment. There are audio dramas, which is the same as having the acting radio shows from 80, 90 years ago. It's back on podcast form. So the podcast is the way of the present and the future, because it's not the way of the future because it's already here. And so I encourage everybody, if you've ever thought about podcasting, think about what you want to podcast about. Move forward on that, because you may be scared to podcast. You may be scared to be on the radio or computer, but that fear is going to remain if you allow it. So I encourage you to start taking the next step in your pursuit of podcasting. And if you need help, you got me. So over to you.
Thank you so much. We will take it over. So we're still waiting for people who are out there. Please remember, you can join the conversation. We have a powerhouse in the house. So you want to use this chance to ask as many questions as possible. In the South African Connection Room in Clubhouse, we add value. We bring value to you. We bring you whatever is good. And so I want to hand the microphone over to the queen of the South African Connection Room, Cornelia. You picked up Dennis and brought him to us to share this nugget with us. And we love being in the room. So what was your intention of bringing David, of asking us to do this session with David? And what is the plan behind this series that we're starting of bringing faces and brands together and adding value to people? And then from there, of course, your question to Dennis.
This queen is about sustainability. This queen is about education. Okay? So this is why I thought I need to get Dennis on board. And my mantra is Africa first. We stole this line from Donald Trump. He's not there anymore. So we thought, you know what? We're going to take this line from him and say Africa first. And this is exactly what we do in South Africans Connections. We don't just talk and have conversations, but see where we can grow with each other and move forward. We have done a global youth conference. A guy who's living in South Africa, a Nigerian young man, came into the club one morning and he said, do you know what, Cornelia, I do have a club here, but see that you're the networker, I need your help. So because he came in there, I was driven to do even more in the club. I realized that if he could walk in there and ask us for his help and also decide to have the Global Youth Conference in the club and have it live streamed in the club that day as well, I realized there are so much potential in our youth. They are finally saying, you know what? We need to make change. We don't have to go anywhere, but we ourselves have to make change. And when I saw what he was doing, he was driving me to do even more. And then more people started coming in every single day in rooms like a Tuesday, where every Tuesday we have Ask a South African. And a lot of people has just walked in because we had this topic, Ask a South African. And that is how Samira also came into our room. She came into our room one morning and she was like a ray of sunshine, and she walked in there. Hi, I'm also African and I'm here, and what are you guys doing? And blah, blah, blah. And then I said, oh, great. You're also a traveler, and who are you and what do you do and all that. And then we realized, oh my hat, she's also a networker. She's also a global woman. She's also having the same mantra as we have in this club. And she came in, she stayed and never left. So this, and look where she is right now. She's sitting on the panel with us this evening. So Samira, great having you part of our group as well, you know, making change with our African community, because if not we, who else can do it? You know, that time is past where we look to others to bring change. I think we are a group of people who have gone through the different stages in our lives, have brought the experience and the know-how as well to bring to our people. And if we cannot have the next level for education, then we bring in people who have the same mantra like us, and people like Dennis. So this is why we have Dennis every Tuesday. Tuesdays is also a day where we have a room, Ask a South African, and that room was so interesting today. We had such a lot of good laughs in that room, and people come in there and they ask every kind of questions. Today was one of those days where you think, you really ask us that, you know? But it was fun. And this is the room where we attracted Samira as well. She looked in the hallway, what is happening today. She said, ask a South African, let me pop in there. Let's see what they're up to. And yes, and Dennis, I don't know how he came to the room. I think you also were attracted with one of our topics we had. And he came in, he felt good with our energy in the room. It's not everywhere, it's the same. And I must say to all of you who are listening, we are running the club for over 8 months, and we manage as a team, because it's not just Cornelia who's doing the South Africans connection, but we are doing it as a team, and we are keeping it drama free, and we are doing our best to give value to our audience. And this is a note that I liked what Dennis has also said, which I have seen in many other shows as well. When you talk about public speaking, you know, and podcasting and all that, people always think, oh, you know what, it's all about me. It is not about you, it's about your audience. And you know why I like working with Dennis as well? Because when he's on stage and doing his rooms, he makes it all about the people who joins his stage. He makes it all about what they want and how he can be a service to them. And I want to thank him as well for being part of us and always showing up. You know, he always shows up on a Tuesday. For it doesn't matter if one person or two people come in there, you always happen to show up. And as I'm looking at the clock, we do have 15 minutes left, because every Tuesday we start at 6 o'clock Central European time, which is also the same time in South Africa. And that is, Dennis don't like to be late. He's like very punctual. He's worse than the Germans, you know. I live in Germany. He's worse than the Germans. 6 o'clock, Dennis is there before 6 o'clock, you know. So yeah, over to you, Beatrice.
Thank you so much for that background. We have a few minutes to go. Again, we have powerhouses in this room, on this stage. You can join the conversation in Clubhouse immediately after this, so you can listen to more from Dennis and ask more questions. But I just want, before we get back to Dennis, to ask him to wrap up this quick series, the first of this series. I want to indicate that this is a series that we're starting. It's powered by the South African Connection Room in Clubhouse. We will be presenting to you, as time goes on, different entrepreneurs that we have in the club, different experts, different insight, value, and just so much that we'll be bringing to you. So you want to watch out. Tomorrow we have another one of this series coming up where we will be spotlighting again one of the experts from the room. So you want to, Cornelia always says it's Christmas time. Some of these experts have a whole lot. They have a whole lot to offer you, products and services. And that said, before we run out of time, I want to go back to Dennis and thank him so much for the content today. But Dennis, I want you to put out your offer. What is it that you're offering? Where can people find you? What kind of programs do you offer to people? And what are your offerings during this Christmas? How can you serve people during this Christmas? And how can they get hold of you to learn about all the things that you do? So use this few minutes to put your package out and let everyone know what you're offering, how you can impact their lives, and where they can get hold of you right away so they don't miss on anything.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Beatrice, for all that good stuff. This is good work here. So I want everyone to be able to spread their message and grow their business and become more confident. As I said, public speaking is personal growth, and it's going to impact you in your professional and personal lives. Speaking of that, I am a men's confidence coach and numerologist, and the two main packages I offer, one of them we've been talking about all this hour, is the Authentic Master Program for speakers. I want to change it to communicators because it started out just for speakers, but now it's communicators, right? And so we're going to be going over how to write your bio, how to write your story, right? Write your story, because you're going to need that in business when you go out there and start passing out your material. We also talk about those elevator pitches when you're in networking rooms or networking communities, how to express what you do in maybe 60 seconds or less, right? And then in that package as well, if you work with me, you get a choice. Do you want to go down the public speaking road, how to craft your speech and get on stage? Or do you want to go down the podcasting road, how to create your podcast and get on the net? And so the prerequisite is there with the bio, and then you can choose one of the two paths there. You can easily get that package by contacting me directly at dennis@coreconfidencelife.com. That's dennis@coreconfidencelife.com. The other package I offer is more about a personal life. It's a package designed for men. It's about becoming more confident and assertive, and it's the Authentic Master Program, for confidence. And that also has three parts: it has self-image, it has social assertiveness, and it has sexual confidence. And so that's for any man who wants to become more assertive and centered in his masculinity. You can contact me about that as well at the same email, dennis@coreconfidencelife.com. Of course, that's the website, coreconfidencelife.com. And one final thing, to thank everybody for coming to this live broadcast. Anyone that is live or listens to this in the next 24 hours, you can get a free mind primer for public speakers by sending an email to speak@coreconfidencelife.com. That's speak@coreconfidencelife.com. You send an email there in the next 24 hours from the airing of this video, and you will get Mind Primer for public speakers for free. You usually have to buy it off my website or hire me for a package to get that, but you can get it for free in the next 24 hours right away by sending a message to speak@coreconfidencelife.com. And thanks everyone for listening and asking the questions and talking about a very important topic. Back over to you, Beatrice.
Thank you, Dennis. I don't know if Beatrice is right here, maybe.
Maybe she don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, over to y'all. How about that? Y'all. Y'all.
Yeah. Okay.
It could be a networking problem because there are some challenges in South Africa with the network. It could be the network as well.
Absolutely. So we're actually kind of rounding up. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is maybe the end, actually, anyhow, so that's okay. Here we go. Here comes our Queen Beatrice.
Yes, so the network is a little bit troubleshooting. I apologize for that interruption. But if I go away, just carry on again because you're being live streamed. You're on. So I don't know how far Dennis went with presenting his
So
offer.
we're all done.
Dennis,
We're all done.
you were done. Great, excellent. So anyone who is out there, you are interested in public speaking, you are shy, you are overwhelmed, whatever it is that you're going through, Dennis is the person to go to. In the description box of this video, you'll find his website. Click on the website and connect to Dennis, and he will take you to where you're going, trust me. And so that said, you can follow, when this is over, follow us to Clubhouse and continue the conversation. But before we close the session, I would like to go back to Cornelia. Cornelia, tell us the vision of what we're doing in a nutshell very quickly so that we can wrap up and then get everyone ready for the next session in Clubhouse.
Okay, we don't have much time left, but every Tuesday, every Monday, we have Money Matters. Yeah, on Tuesdays, we have podcasting one week, and the next week is public speaking. On Wednesdays, we have LinkedIn, and I brought the best people of LinkedIn. I'm also very bad at LinkedIn, and the guys who's doing LinkedIn, they are some of the best on Clubhouse, and I managed to grab them into our space, yeah. And on a Thursday, we do have the Paradigm of Men. Our big mission at the moment is we're organizing a global men's conference. It will just be a men's conference. No woman will be taking part of that, but we are behind the scenes helping to organize that. There's a panel of men who shows up every Thursday for this room. Dennis is one of them. And then we have Dan, who's a production. He makes films around the world. And then we have Prince from One Africa Forum, who's behind this. We have Arthur. We have Olga Godwin, who shows up every week. And this is much needed conversations because we realize what is happening at the moment. The pandemic is not just taking lives because of COVID, but it's taking so many lives, people committing suicide, and it's all ages. You cannot even say it's people with money or no money, because it is around the cross board. We have people coming into my room all the time telling me that they've lost somebody who has taken their lives, somebody close to them. So when it's happening to you, somebody who's very close to you, you tell another story. I lost also a colleague. I've seen him every single day, and everybody just looked away. And this made us, we cannot look away anymore. We have to take action because this pandemic has taken too many lives with suicide. And this is the programs that we do have. And on Fridays, we like just to chill out. We have South African musicians. We have DJs from South Africa. And we just have a good old network room. Yeah, and this is what we are all about. We as South Africans, we are a very diverse community. So our door is open, like Cape Town Harbor is open to the rest of the world, like Clubhouse is. So yes, this is what we're all about. And I would love to see you in 5 minutes joining us in the room where Dennis will be continuing our classroom in Club Sassy-Fin, where he does his rooms every Tuesday evening. And thank you everybody for being there. And don't be afraid, to reach out to us. You can reach out to Beatrice Achaleke. She is an amazing woman, author of many books. If you don't know how to write, like me, I don't like writing, she will get you to write your story and to write your book. She has so many packages, and next
Cornelia,
Monday,
stop. We're talking.
next Monday we will be having her as our main guest as well. And Samira, she's also part of our group. You will be meeting her in the South American groups, and next Tuesday she will.
Tonight already at 8, and next we were going to be.
Yeah, next Tuesday we will be joining them as well. And this evening, you can also join Samira in the South American group. And then, yes, we have 4 minutes to go, and then I hope to see you. So you can grab your drink, a piece of pen and paper, and make some notes as well if you need to. Okay, that's enough for me for now.
Thank you so much, Cornelia. Dennis, your last word. Why should people follow you to Clubhouse right now?
So you can learn how to speak better today so your relationships and businesses can take off tomorrow.
Thank you so much. That's it. So see you in Clubhouse.
And
Thank
that
you so
happens in Club Sassy Fin.
In Club Sassy Fin. Thank you so much, Dennis, for your powerful input. Thank you, Samira, for showing up. Thank you, the Queen, for bringing all of us here. And we will see you in the club and tomorrow on another one of this series. So thank you so much for having joined us. We are done. May you have a good evening. Bye.